Good evening. This is the Vsb TV 11 News for Wednesday, August 6th. I'm Peter Cattell. Our top story: the theft of a handbag from tourists cycling on South Road, Warwick yesterday was remarkably caught on film by another tourist wearing a GoPro camera attached to his helmet. The police are making the film available to the media in the hope of identifying and arresting the culprits, and we leave it to Police Media Relations Officer Dwayne Keynes to take up the story.
Police have obtained video footage of tourists on a livery cycle who had their handbags snatched. It appears that around 2:48 on Tuesday, August 6, 3 rental cycles with tourists was traveling east on South Road in Warwick near Aswood Park when 2 unknown individuals on a motorcycle sped past them and removed a handbag from their rental cycle basket. The thieves then made good their escape traveling east on South Road. The image of these 2 unscrupulous individuals stealing in this manner is disturbing, and police have commenced an investigation into this incident. We are asking the public's assistance in identifying the individuals on the cycle, and anyone with any information is asked to contact Central CIU on 295-0011. I'm Dwayne Keynes for Police Media Relations.
Another day of transportation chaos has hit the Royal Naval Dockyard and its visiting cruise ship passengers, with queues of over 300 people being counted from time to time at the bus stops as visitors bypass the new $16 round trip by minibus to Horseshoe Bay in favor of a 2-day $25 bus pass. Transport Minister Sean Crockwell received a letter today from BIU President Chris Ferbert bemoaning the lack of consultation with the bus operators and calling for an urgent meeting, while Bill Hanbury, CEO of the Bermuda Tourism Authority, had this to say on the poor impression that the situation was creating.
Well, there's got to be more thought that's gone into it, that goes into it in the future. Certainly, we're not satisfied with the dissatisfaction that some of our visitors have had in the last couple of days. In an effort to try to improve transportation, there's been some glitches. We believe they're getting worked out today. We're hopeful that they're getting worked out today, but no, it's not acceptable, and it's something that we just got to do a better job with.
Do we still have those marshals up there that we used to have?
We do. We have a large group of ambassadors that we use that are in face-to-face contacts with our visitors, that are our key frontline folks that interact with folks, and they're trying to keep everybody calmed down and trying to connect them with the best possible transportation solutions. But there's no question we've had some challenges around that, and we just got to do better.
Speaking of calm, where are the taxis in this equation?
Well, the taxis are a key part of the transit solution in Dockyard, as they are around the rest of the island. And I would suggest that we also need to do a better job of queuing and calling in taxis when we have these kinds of issues.
One of the 2 victims of that tragic campsite accident on Kinleyfield Road over Cup Match has died. Police confirming last night the man who was hit by a car that plowed into the campsite became the island's 9th road fatality of the year. Vsb News' Chris Lodge has more.
The collision occurred just before 6 o'clock on Saturday morning. It saw the driver smash into 2 parked cars and then crash through a tent. 51-year-old Melvin Smith from Billygoat Hill was asleep in the tent with his wife when the vehicle careered off the road. Mr. Smith suffered multiple serious injuries in the smash and has spent the last 4 days on the intensive care unit at King Edward Hospital. Police initially telling us his injuries were not life-threatening, and recent updates had suggested that Mr. Smith's condition had stabilized. However, last night a police spokesman confirmed that Mr. Smith had become the island's 9th road fatality of the year. On Saturday morning, police confirmed the driver of the car, a 19-year-old man, had been arrested on suspicion of driving whilst impaired. Police are still appealing for witnesses to the collision or anyone with any information to contact PC Ian Moe at 295-0011. A family liaison officer has been assigned to the family, and an active investigation into the circumstances surrounding Mr. Smith's death is now underway. Mrs. Smith is on a general ward at the hospital and is expected to make a full recovery. I'm Chris Lodge, Vsb News.
The Corporation of Hamilton issued its first statement on the controversial Ewing Street refurbishment plan today. shortly after protesters obtained a Supreme Court injunction halting the removal of the median trees. Vsb News' Brian Darby provides us with the main points of the City Father's statement.
The Chief Justice has today issued a stay of work to the transplanting of trees on Ewing Street. The City of Hamilton has not yet had the opportunity to present any information to the courts and looks forward to clarifying the issue at the earliest opportunity. The objectives of the Ewing Street refurbishment, particularly between Court and Princess Streets, is to allow accessibility for emergency surface vehicles onto Ewing Street, assess the 3 structurally unsound trees in the area, widen the sidewalks as the current area is too narrow for pedestrians, provide for the undergrounding of all utilities, and install a tree-lined street with new street lighting. After removal of the median, the trees removed will be temporarily released to Jubilee Park. None of the current trees will be destroyed and will be replanted along Ewing Street. Additionally, the pedestrian environment will be improved and resident on-street parking will be maintained. All other alternatives did not achieve the objectives or budget restraints. The objectors were aware of the approved plan and as recently as 6 to 8 weeks ago presented the Infrastructure Committee with yet another suggestion, stating that they were aware that it might not be successful, but they were appreciative of the additional opportunity to get their point of view across. The committee reviewed and assessed the presentation and upon completion agreed that the current plan of action would be the best choice for the project. Brian Darby reporting for Vsb News.
Home Affairs Minister Senator Michael Fay has welcomed today's ruling by the Chief Justice to overturn Best's appeal regarding the Tuckers Point Club. Best had argued that the 2011 Special Development Order, pursuant to Section 15 of the Act, was contrary to Bermuda's obligations and commitments under international law. The Chief Justice has confirmed this is not the case. The ruling has also clarified that the SDO, which was issued by the previous administration after approval by both houses of the legislature, gave planning authorities the discretion whether or not to ask for them. Following consultation with independent inspectors from the United Kingdom, the minister dismissed Best's appeal and maintained the decision of the DAB, which led to Best challenging the decision in the Supreme Court. The minister's dismissal of the appeal will stand in light of today's ruling. The government of Bermuda has announced the names of the first Sargasso Sea commissioners to exercise stewardship for the Sargasso Sea and keep the health, productivity, and resilience of the unique open ocean ecosystem under continual review, as mandated by the Hamilton Declaration. The 5 commissioners who are unpaid and will serve in their personal capacities are Dr. Billy Corsi, Southeast Regional Director for NOAA, Professor Howard Rowe, an oceanographer with nearly 50 years' experience in marine science from the United Kingdom, Professor Ricardo Serrao Santos, Professor of Marine Ecology from the Azores, Professor Dira Tiadi, Professor of International Law from South Africa, and Bermuda's Senior Marine Resources Officer, Dr. Tammy Trott.
You can count on us.
Great for grilling, Purdue Fresh Chicken Leg Quarters, only $1.59 per pound. For a juicy snack, extra large Southern Peaches, just $2.49 a pound. Joy Lemon Dishwashing Liquid, only $3.69 for a 30-ounce bottle. Aunt Millie's Homestyle Whole Wheat, Country Buttermilk, and Cracked Wheat Bread, just $4.49 for a 24-ounce loaf. Select varieties of Dole juices, only $5.49 for a 59-ounce carton. Visit our website at www.marketplace.pm for more weekly specials.
You can count on us.
If you've been the victim of an uninsured or hit-and-run driver, your medical and other expenses may not be covered by your insurance. The good news is, there is coverage. The Motor Insurers Fund can provide you with compensation to help you through the crisis, whether suffering from physical injury, loss of wages, or extra expense incurred as a result of your injuries. For further information about the Motor Insurers Fund, visit mif.bm or call 505-8555. The Motor Insurers Fund, assurance after the unexpected.
Now at Big Savings Zone, there's the Kids Zone. See the latest bedroom ideas for tots to teens. There's a large selection of beds, bedding, all kind of furniture designed especially in mind for your child. And see the array of accessories for all ages. Big Savings Zone is the home of Ashley Furniture and Serta Mattresses in Bermuda. And the Kids Zone is only at Big Savings Zone, at the end of Stocks Road, St. David's.
Faced with the scenes of underage drinking during the Cup Match weekend, members of the Family Center, Carter, and Chustick held a conference call today to build a consensus that could be taken to appropriate government ministers. After the discussion, Martha Dismont, Executive Director of the Family Center, brought some of the concerns to Vsb News and explained them to Brian Darby.
We have a very serious problem on our hands, as you called it. I think maybe more so because we've almost accepted a lot of the behavior as norm for the island, cultural norm. We are a very social, relational group of people. However, we seem to not be able to distinguish between what should be socially acceptable and what is excessive. And whether it's the tragedy that occurred over the weekend with the car incident, which I'm not sure of all the facts there, and but how do we protect each other from excessive whatever it is? And as I mentioned to you, I was very concerned about the excessive drinking at Horseshoe Bay, and I'm not as concerned, quite honestly, about Beach Fest, because I do believe Chustick has begun to learn some lessons about how to have a socially acceptable event, and an event that where the public has a good experience. But what I was concerned about, I walked around Horseshoe Bay, even beyond Beach Fest, and the excessive drinking was, I was flabbergasted, I have to say, the underage drinking. And the police were there, and they were trying to figure out themselves, how do we contain, manage what we're seeing? I think it was a very difficult environment, and so my greatest concern is that this has become somewhat of an acceptable norm in terms of people, even the people on the beach. There were lots of adults with glasses of beer and wine or whatever they had in their glass, not only drinking, but walking into the water with it. I was just flabbergasted, I have to say, and I just wonder, when is enough enough? When do we decide as a community that we have to establish some healthier social norms? Just because we want to be one of the best tourism locations, it doesn't mean that we have to be partying all the time. Can't we find some healthy ways to enjoy ourselves? I think children are looking for that from us. I don't think we found it ourselves as adults.
With the total visitor arrivals for the second quarter of the year up by 5%, and the year-to-date air visitors down 2% from last year, the Bermuda Tourist Authority is still committed to improving the island's tourism. CEO Bill Hanbury says despite the slight decline in hotel figures, his team's position is to stay on course for future tourism recovery.
As far as hotel accommodations are concerned, we're running at about the same pace we were at last year, maybe a little bit behind. We think perhaps some of that was related to the pollution issues and some of the other issues that we've had on island, economic issues around international business. But all in all, we're doing okay. We're not doing spectacular, but we're doing okay. This is not a time for us to be pulling the panic button by any stretch at all. There has been certainly a transition time between the former Department of Tourism and the new BTA, and in that transition we've tried to maintain as much media as possible, media buys, certainly a very robust PR effort, a social media effort, and we think we're doing quite well. It's a very tough market out there right now. The global economy is not doing as well as it was before, and every destination around the world is being impacted by that. So we're doing okay. We can do much better, and we fully anticipate doing much better as we go forward into the future. A lot of work is being done to reposition Bermuda from a product perspective, and reposition it from where we go demographically to go find our visitors. So we're excited about those prospects and remain excited about the future.
Now, here's a look at the daily markets, presented by Bias.
Here are the daily markets presented by Bias. Wall Street ends near flat, and Russia concern keeps lid on gains. In the U.S., stocks little changed as declines in Sprint Corporation and Time Warner Incorporated on merger news offset gains in consumer staple shares. Keytech rose 4.65% to $4.50 with 500 shares trading hands. Bank of Butterfield was unchanged on the day at $2. XL Group dropped to 0.06% with $32.12. European indices retreated today amid mounting concern over the Ukraine crisis as Russia reinforced its troops along its border. The FTSE 100 dropped 0.69% to 6,636. Pacific Rim indices were down today. The Nikkei 225 retreated 1.05% to 15,160. The Hang Seng Index declined 0.26% to 24,584. Latin American indices were mixed on the day. Argentina's Merval was up 0.85%. Brazil's Bovespa gained the most as oil producers advanced amid speculation that a potential change in government will reduce intervention in state-owned companies. U.S. Treasuries rose with 10-year yields touching the lowest level since May as investors' demand for safety increased on concern that tensions are escalating between Russia and the Western nations of Ukraine. The U.S. dollar weakened versus most of its peers. The yen declined 0.53% versus the U.S. dollar as a flare-up in the tension between Russia and Ukraine damped the appeal of the risky asset. And that was a look at the daily markets presented by Bias.
For a healthy snack, extra large white seedless grapes, only $3.99 per pound. XL fresh country style pork spare ribs, just $4.29 per pound. Scott white toilet tissue, only $1.29 for a single roll. Counting Bill's white or wheat split top bread, just $3.99 for a 20-ounce loaf. Start your day with Kellogg's Frosted Flakes cereal, only $5.49 for a 15-ounce box. All stores are open Monday through Saturday until 10 p.m., Sunday 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
Copyfax is Samsung's authorized dealer service center in Bermuda. If you're looking for a tablet, Copyfax have a range of Samsung's Tab 3, 5 and 7. They have Samsung's ATIV Book, which has a 15.6-inch screen. And the ATIV One computer has a 24-inch touch screen. Be sure you're buying from an authorized Samsung dealer. In Bermuda, it's Copyfax Limited, 96 North Shore Road. They service what they sell.
The celebration of a Bermuda cricket legend is brought to you by Belco, Lindo's, Bex, Butterfield & Vallis, BAC, Colonial Insurance, Corona, Bermuda Bistro, and BF&M. Joseph Bailey, better known as Joe, made his cup match appearance debut for Somerset Cricket Club in 1963 as a spin bowler. However, Joe was most definitely an all-rounder. His best score with the bat in the Classic was 75. Joe played a cup match for 19 consecutive years, and 6 of those he captained the team and served as the vice-captain for 5 years. In 1981, he skippered Somerset to victory in St. George's, a feat few can boast. Bailey played league cricket for Somerset Cricket Club from 1971 to 1973 and won 3 consecutive Triple Crown championships. Internationally, Joe represented Bermuda many times against Australia, New Zealand, the United States, and many county teams from England. Joe competed in the ICC competition as well as served as a player, then as a manager, and finally was chairman for 2 ICC tournaments. Joe coached the Somerset Cricket Club and served on the club's management committee until he retired from the club life. Joseph Bailey, celebrating a Bermuda cricket legend.
The Bermuda Weather Service produces educational videos each year on the subject of hurricane readiness. And as we get into the most dangerous of the 2014 hurricane months, Vsb News has accepted an invitation to run as many of the 10 videos as is possible to help increase the awareness of the public. The subject of storm surge is attracting a lot of interest this year, with the National Hurricane Center making special surveys of how storm surge can be predicted. The video on that subject, produced by the Bermuda Weather Service, is therefore a good place to start our series.
This is James Dodgson, Deputy Director of the Bermuda Weather Service with a Hurricane Awareness Update. Did you know that water is the biggest cause of loss of life and property during a hurricane? Storm surge, inundation and flooding can cause more damage than high wind speeds alone. This damage can be greater when the storm surge and swell coincides with high tides. Hurricane season runs from June the 1st through November the 30th. Will you be ready? Have a hurricane plan in place for your business and home. During the onset of a tropical system, be sure to finish preparations in advance of the onset of hazardous conditions. Monitor the Bermuda Weather Service's website, www.weather.bm, for the latest weather updates. This tip has been brought to you by the Bermuda Weather Service, Bermuda's official source of weather watches, warnings, forecasts and observations, courtesy of BAS Serco Limited.
Hi, I'm Peter Jubetic, host of Season to Taste. Tune in on Tuesday night during the Vsb Tv 11 News. I'll be here with Chef Ian Carruthers from Bermudaful Catering. He's going to prepare this beautiful dish of roasted beets with goat cheese and arugula salad. And find out from Simon what the Gosling's Wine of the Week is.
Tuesday during the Vsb Tv 11 News.
Now, here's Earl Baisden with the Sports Report.
Bermuda will be sending a strong 7-member team to the Pan American Wushu Championships in Costa Rica. President of the Bermuda Sandshell Federation, Garen Wilkinson, sees this competition as a great opportunity for the Bermuda fighters.
In the drawing lots, there's no ranking system, so there's, just because you're ranked, it doesn't give you any sort of advantage. So every fighter pretty much goes in on a level playing field. The draw for the fights is completely random, and your success in the competition can come down to who you draw in the first round. Ideally, you want to draw one of the weaker countries in the hope that you can get through the match, build your confidence up, get those nerves out, and progress through the rounds in the hope of meeting stronger competition as you move along. He has fought at this weight category before. The difference is that when he fought at this weight category before, the fighter he was fighting actually cut weight to make the category, so the fighter was significantly bigger than him. The good thing is that everyone's going to be on a level playing field. If there are guys cutting weight, unfortunately they're going to have to try to do it every single day, which of course is going to affect the amount of energy and power they have. So the playing field's even, so it's going to be interesting to see how the fighters make out in new weight classes.
The Bermuda Cricket Board confirmed the squad of 18 for the ICC Americas Under-17 tournament, which will be held August 18th through to the 23rd at the National Sports Center, where Bermuda will take on USA and Canada. Staying with cricket news, Bermuda's Onias Bascom, Dowray Rollins, and Alex Dorr all played in the ICC Americas match against Guyana on Day 2 of the West Indies Regional Under-19 Championships going on in Guyana. Needing to chase 229 for victory, the ICC Americas team were bowled all out for 180, with Bascom the top scorer on 53. Duncan Scott finished 25th in the men's 50 to 54 age group during the London Triathlon. Scott completed the course in a time of 2 hours, 31 minutes and 25 seconds, crossing the line 1,065th overall. Goals from Rashad Majeski and John Stead ensured that Nicky Vowles and his Huddersfield Town teammates ended its 2014-15 preseason campaign with an entertaining 2-2 draw at home against Newcastle United. Daniel Augustus and Kamiko Smith began taking part in the 83rd Rhode Island Open Golf Championships. Augustus ended Day 1 tied 23rd with an opening round 1 under par 69. Smith struggled on Day 1 with an opening round of 8 over par 78 and sits tied 100. I'm Earl Baisden reporting for VSB Sports.
Outlast any storm with the most advanced alkaline battery. This weather segment is brought to you by Duracell Quantum.
Well, a lot of sun, but it does look like that weather sheet is a-changing. I'm Che Barker, and this is your weather. Let's take a look at our weather shot for today. This is a great shot by Jacqueline Dow at sunset last night over North Shore. It looks like a brochure for Bermuda right here. You go off and sit off on your boat and enjoy the sunset while people are off kayaking in the distance. Just a great shot. We've had some amazing shots this week. Thank you to Jacqueline for sending this one in. Our highs and lows for today. 87 was our high temperature. Told you, pretty hot, but that wind kept it a little more mild at 3 p.m. and 82 degrees was our low temperature at 3 a.m. this morning. Toasty. Currently, we're looking at 83 degrees, humidity 75%, winds out of the southwest at 18 to 24 knots, and you can see gusts of all the way up to 34 knots, and the barometric pressure, she's dropping at 30 inches. So far for August, well, we have seen pretty much nothing. 0.04 inches of rain for August. Very, very dry. Total so far, 30.72 inches for the year, still dropping off of that 32.61 we'd have normally seen. Let's take a look at a satellite map. Now, as a frontal boundary makes its approach into the area, shower activity with a risk of thunder will increase tonight and persist right through into Thursday morning. Now, moderate to strong winds will decrease later on tonight, and conditions will rapidly improve on Thursday afternoon. You can see there's not much sitting behind this big wall of cloud here. Brings mainly fair conditions, light winds and a passing shower on Friday, right through into the weekend. In the gateway cities, 92 and partly cloudy in Atlanta. Boston, mostly cloudy and 79. 87 and partly cloudy in Charlotte. London, partly cloudy and 77. 89 in Miami and mostly cloudy. 82 and partly cloudy in New York. Orlando, partly cloudy, 92 degrees. 84 in Philadelphia and partly cloudy. Sunny and 75 in Toronto. Washington, partly cloudy and 86 degrees. And for tonight, we're looking at cloudy with the showers and a risk of thunder increasing overnight. Low temperature of around 77. Winds out of the southwest at 18 to 24 knots. Gusts all the way up to 34. And then they'll move out of the west-southwest at 12 to 18 knots. For tomorrow, high temperature of around 83. Cloudy with showers, a risk of thunder decreasing in the afternoon. Winds out of the west-southwest at 10 to 15 knots. You'll have higher gusts and showers. And then they'll move to the west, 8 to 12 knots by the evening. For mariners tonight, there is a small craft warning and a thunder advisory in effect. Seas inside the reef 1 to 3 feet, seas outside 5 to 9 feet, and your sea temperature 84 degrees. For mariners tomorrow, again, small craft warning and thunder advisory in effect in the morning. Seas inside the reef 1 to 2 feet, seas outside 4 to 8 feet. High tide will be at 5:47 a.m. and your low tide at 11:59 a.m. Take a look at our 5-day forecast. On Thursday, cloudy showers and a risk of thunder decreasing in the afternoon, high of 83. Friday, a mix of sun and clouds with 1 or 2 showers, high of 84. Saturday, sunny periods, a few passing showers overnight, high of 83. Sunday, sunny breaks with a few passing showers in the morning, high of 83. And Monday, a mix of sun and clouds, high of 84. I'd like to thank the Bermuda Weather Service for all their help as usual. Here's my terrible joke for the night. I learned a song about a tortilla. Actually, it's more of a rap. No? Anyway, special shout out to my friends Ian at the Alexanders of London English Sports Shop. Hooked me up, not just a suit this time, but also a vest. Pretty swag. That's it for me. Enjoy your night.
Outlast any storm with the most advanced alkaline battery. Today's weather forecast was brought to you by Duracell Quantum.
Thanks for tuning in to the TV 11 News. We'll look forward to your company tomorrow night. Good night.
Peter Cattell's attire, courtesy of A.S. Cooper & Sons Limited. Outfit for Che Barker, provided by Alexander at the English Sports Shop.
Vsb Tv 11, Bermuda.